Hi, and welcome to another MTH instructional video. Today, I'm going to be showing you the basics of how to wire your layout to your brand new WTIU so that you can get to running your trains. So the first thing to getting your layout wired up so you can run your trains is having a power supply. Preferably for 3-rail O-scale, you need an AC power supply. There are a wide variety out there, but today we have an MTH Z1000 brick. This is 40-1000. And then to go connected to your WTIU, you need a way to hook up to these terminals. These have a banana jack plug or our screw terminal so you can hook up a normal wire. Because this Z1000 has a barrel jack, MTH sells a banana jack to barrel adapter, which is 50-1017. And so to wire in power to this, you take your barrel jack, plug it into this adapter, and then you wire up to your fixed inputs or variable inputs. We'll talk about that in the future, but for now we're going to use the main input, which is fixed 1. So hook up your ground to ground and hook up your hot to fixed in 1 hot. You would do the same thing for all the power inputs on the WTIU. Each one will need its own power input if you want to use that channel. So you would have other bricks or other power supplies if you wanted to use fixed 2, variable 1, or variable 2. Before wiring up your track, we recommend that you test your power input to the WTIU. To do that, we have it hooked up, as we did before, to fixed 1, and the Z1000 has a switch. So if you turn on the power, the output channel light will then turn purple. The same applies for fixed output 2, and then for the variable channels, those will turn purple once you're in the DCS app and controlling things. We'll talk about the variable channels later. So now that we have power hooked up to our WTIU inputs, we need to connect the WTIU outputs to the layout. Here are the general supplies that you will need to hook up your WTIU to your layout. You will need some tools, which is just a basic set of wire cutters, some wire strippers to strip the sheathing off the wires, and then some way to connect different kinds of wire together, because you're going to have multiple wires running and you'll need ways to connect them together at joints. And so there's all kinds of methods. You have wire nuts, you can solder things together. Something I like to use are these wire lever nuts that have these nice spring-loaded levers. You put the wires in and then you snap them down, and they're just really easy to use. But obviously use whatever you prefer and whatever works for you. We recommend that you use 12-gauge paired wire for your main feeds and 14-gauge wire for your drops. Obviously, like I said before, use what works for you, but this is what we recommend. Your main feeds are your feeds coming from your central distribution, which in this case is going to be a terminal block. These run from the terminal block out to your drops. A drop is the 14-gauge wire coming down from the track, and you'll then connect them together using something, like I said before, a wire nut, solder, or these wire lever nuts that I use here. We recommend using paired wire because it keeps the wires close together. The paired wiring helps to control impedance, which reduces reflections and signal loss with DCS. But if you're going to be using individual spools of wire, make sure to keep your wires close together. So keep your ground and your hot for each feed close together so that you can keep a strong DCS signal throughout your layout. Let me take a moment to talk about the preferred style of wiring. There are many different types of wiring methods that people use on their model train layouts. There is star wiring, there's bus wiring, which are the two main methods that people use. Bus wiring is very traditional and it gets power all throughout your layout. However, the preferred method for DCS signal and the WTIU is star wiring. It is generally a method of having a hot and common as a pair from your WTIU output to a terminal block and then out to each track drop from that terminal block. Each WTIU output should be for its own loop or block. If the loops are very large, it might be a good idea to split them into sections and use a separate WTIU output for each section. Electrically isolate yards and sidings from the main lines and have them on their own WTIU output as well. Splitting up your layout reduces the chance for DCS signal loss and interference. One additional note is about the outside rails with 3-rail track. The outside rails need to be connected together in order to have good DCS signal. To connect your outside rails together, you can either solder a wire underneath your track to connect the outer rails, or you can alternate your ground drops back and forth between the inside outer rail and the outside outer rail. To start out, I'm going to talk about the drops from the track. This is a basic small 4x8 layout, and so ideally you wouldn't really need more than one drop on a layout this small, but we're demonstrating what you can do for larger layouts with this, so we have more. On this layout we're using reel tracks, and we're using reel tracks lock-ons to demonstrate our drops. So you see there's a drop here, another one down there, there's one on this siding here, and there's another one over on the side where you can't see it. And these, the loop and this track are fully isolated from each other. These are going to be on separate blocks and separate outputs from the WTIU. And so these terminal blocks on the main loop go down underneath the table for wiring. And so these are where we're going to hook up our 14 gauge wire that we recommend. You could also solder to the track if you have a different track system, but use whatever works. You just need to drop 14 gauge wire down from each of your locations on your loop down underneath the table, and we'll be doing more wiring underneath there. So here we are under the layout, and when you drop your wires down, you'll have, I usually add about 1 foot of a drop, and so this comes down from one of those lock-ons, and it's that paired 14 gauge wire, and I leave about 1 foot. I have these little connectors to mount wires to the bottom of your table. Use whatever works for you. And then here are those wire lever nuts that allow you to connect your 14 gauge drops like this over to your main feeds. This is one of your main feeds that goes back to a terminal block underneath the table. And so you connect the hot to the hot drop and the ground to the ground drop, and then run them back to your terminal block. So here is our terminal block underneath the table, and over here is that main feed going out to that drop I showed you before. It comes over through this brace and into this terminal block. You connect the red hot to the hot side of the terminal block, and you connect the black ground to the ground side of the terminal block. This is a distribution block for this layout. This layout's very small, and it's also split into 2 parts, so there's not very many drops on this. But on a larger layout with multiple drops, you will fill these in as needed. And like I said before, this is the central distribution block for star type wiring that we recommend for DCS on a model train layout. As part of star wiring, you want your terminal block to be as central in your block or loop as possible, so that all the feeds going out from it to your drops are of consistent length. Obviously, if some are longer than another or shorter, that's not going to cause too much of an issue, but you just want a consistent distribution location so that everything is about the same. Here is another view of a full power drop and main feed from our terminal block. Here's the main feed coming off the terminal block over here. It goes over to the middle of this area of the table. I have the wire lever nuts connecting the main feeds to the drops, and then the drop goes up and to one of the terminal connections on the track. So this is what a full star feed and drop will look like under the table. The next part is feeding power from the WTIU to your terminal block, and that is going to be one main feed over from the output to this terminal block. And I'm using some banana connectors here on this terminal block. I have my black and I have my red, and I have a 12 gauge feed going from here all the way back to my WTIU. So here we have our 2 main feeds coming back from the track. This one on my right hand is from that siding. It has its own WTIU output that's going to feed it because it is insulated from the rest of the main loop. And so that track has the lock-on with a 14 gauge drop going down to this main feed. So it comes directly back to this wire. And I'm going to be hooking that up to TIU fixed output number 2. Here is the other end of that banana jack main feed that goes to the terminal block that I was showing. This goes to the terminal block, and then from the terminal block you have your other feeds that go out to your drops on the main line. So for the banana jacks, it's just simple as hooking them up to the outputs. And then these are just wires, so we're just going to screw them onto the terminals. And there we go. We are now hooked up to the WTIU, and now we are going to hook up our power supplies, or rather make sure we are hooked up. We still have our main Z1000 hooked up, and I have an additional one hooked to fix 2 for that siding. And I just have another Z1000 brick. And so now we're going to turn on these power supplies and see if we have track power on the layout. So as stated before, this layout is very small, and so the siding on it is not very long. However, we do recommend that you put multiple drops onto sidings. So if they're very long, put one at each end so that you have good power and DCS signal on your sidings. The same is said for yards and whisker tracks and anything like that. All of those, as we've stated earlier, should be on their own WTIU output. You should have outputs dedicated for things like your yards and your sidings and your whisker tracks and things like that. But on top of that, having multiple drops will allow you to have good DCS signal throughout those sidings, those large yards, and you will run into very little issues if you have multiple drops. So now that we have the layout wired, if we apply track power, we should see these lock-ons all turn on. So first I'll turn on this main loop, and there you see the lock-ons have turned on, so that means we have track on this main loop. However, this siding is off because I don't have power to this. This is on its own separate WTIU output. So if I connect track power to that, there we go. We have light on this lock-on, and the little LED on this RealTrax bumper is turned on as well. So now the layout is wired, and it has track power on each of the 2 blocks on this table, the siding and the main loop. That wraps it up for this video. In the next one, we're going to be showing DCS app basics and adding a locomotive to your DCS app.